If you're a girl and you've ever wondered, where have all the good men gone? This video is for you. You can look at this video as the sequel to a video I made about a year ago called Why Do Girls Like Jerks? Because in this video, I'm going to go a lot deeper than what I did in that video I did a year ago. So I suggest you check that video out and come back here in case you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it, keep watching. Actually, you can keep watching regardless. You don't have to watch that video. I just suggest you do. This is a topic that has been on my mind for a couple of years now. It's not the only thing I've been thinking about. And what I mean is, I've thought about it a couple of times. And I've actually figured it out. I figured out lots of things as to this, and the answer to this question, actually. So first, let me answer the question first. Then we'll go deeper. You see, ladies, if you want to know where all the good men went, they went to the friend zone, But if you want a more corporeal form of where they all went to, nowhere. They didn't go anywhere. I'm about to explain the real reason as to why some women can't find good men to be with. And the reason is very simple. You're not looking for a good man. And you can dispute that as much as you want, but the fact still remains. If you wanted to be with a good man, you'd be with a good man, because it's not really hard to find one. So I'm going to explain the problem here. This is the problem that a lot of women have when they're looking for a mate to be with. And the problem is your criteria. Yes, you have to have a criteria. You have to have a criteria to argue. You have to have a criteria to find a mate in a relationship. You know what a criteria. I hope everyone knows what a criteria is. And basically, I'll explain if you don't. A criteria is a list of standards that you have, right? So, what is your criteria? You have to ask yourself this question. You gotta stop and you gotta think about this. If you end up in a dysfunctional relationship time and time and time again, there has to be certain qualities that are within these men that are making that relationship bad. And there has to be. If you're the common denominator in all these situations, there has to be something either in the man or in yourself. And that's where self-reflection comes in. That we're not talking about in this video. But I have to have a criteria. So you have to stop and you have to think, well, what is my criteria? What makes a man good? What makes a man a good man? And so I'm about to explain a concept that's going to get really deep. And I want you to bear with me this whole time. Okay? So our society has been manipulated on a deep level. And our manipulation goes a lot deeper than what I'm about to describe in this video. However, what I have noticed is that our concepts of masculinity have been warped and have been altered. Concepts of masculinity are a lot different than what they used to be, and in our society are just downright ridiculous now. Think about this one for a second. Way back when, Native American tribes, you know what they had to do before they could get married to other women? They had to go out into the wild, find a wild horse, they had to break that horse, then they had to bring the horse back to give it to the woman or the girl whose father they wanted to marry. Do you know how hard it is to break a fucking horse? Yeah, neither do I, but it's some hard shit, okay? It's hard. But anyway, it is through adversity and through trials does a man become a man back in ancient world cultures. Look at the Spartans. Spartans trained as they were 7 years old. They're a strong, proud race of people, But our concepts of masculinity in our society have been changed and altered. So now our concepts of masculinity are in our mainstream media. We see concepts of masculinity being rappers, having lots of money, being swingers, going around having a lot of sex with other people, disrespecting them, being misogynistic. These are our concepts of masculinity that have been ascribed to the mainstream media. And men who do not have strong father figures in their lives, these boys, they ascribe to be like this because this is what they think is masculinity. Now see, the flip side of that coin is, these are the qualities that you ladies see and ascribe to your male mate. You see bad qualities in a positive light. So you see, this is the problem. The concepts of masculinity that you ladies search for are not good qualities. One thing I've learned about black women, not all, but some. I wouldn't say it's a stereotype, but it is something a lot of people say. A lot of black girls. Well, a lot of black girls want a man who's going to put them in their place, and so They act really tough and they act really strong and everything. They're loud and they're outwardly expressive, you know. And they want a man to come and tame that and put that. Now they want a man that can handle them. But there are some seriously bad implications there. You know, a lot of people say, you know, like, boys don't cry. You know, men are supposed to be stoic and emotionless. We're not supposed to be overly emotional. And being overly emotional is bad, being a man or woman. We'll discuss that later, at a later time. You know, but men are supposed to be emotional. That's one quality. Another quality, you know, we're outwardly expressive. Excuse me, we're supposed to be controlling and domineering. You know, we're supposed to dominate you, right? You're supposed to always be in control, always be proud and powerful, right? And the way that is expressed nowadays usually comes off as actually being very abusive, not in the controlled state it should be, but we'll talk about that in a second. Another concept of masculinity that has been seen in our mainstream media is that men are overly sexual beings. You know, that everything a man does when it comes to courtshiping a woman is to have sex. Everything we do is just to get it in, right? And that's not the fucking case at all. Not all men are like that. That shouldn't even be a quality of masculinity in the first place. Because what this does is it sets up a standard where men are supposed to go around having lots of sex with people. And that is, once again, not a good quality, but it is a quality in our makeshift concepts of masculinity that make our bad criteria, that makes ladies make bad decisions when it comes to courtship. In fact, I'll give you an example. I remember one time, way back when I played lacrosse back in the 10th grade. I think it was what, 2-3 years ago. I was on the bus back to our school because we just had a game. I don't remember how this conversation got up, but I said I do not want a girl to suck my dick. And I said that because I know that if a woman ever sucked my dick, I would not be able to respect her. I'm not saying I don't respect any woman who has done it. I'm just, if you suck my dick, we're not equals. And I know in myself that I can't respect you. I can't do it. You know, and for me, I can only be with the girl I respect. I can't be with someone I don't respect. But when I said this, a lot of the other guys who were around me, you know, they questioned my level of masculinity. And they question it based on the amount of sexual drive or the amount of women I can pull and the amount of women I can get. So because our concepts have been warped, even within male peer groups, I'll be quite honest, some people actually call me gay for that, which makes no fucking sense, because even gay people want to have their dick sucked. Anyway, you know, they'll badmouth me, they'll put me down, they'll make me look bad, they'll make me look less of a man because I don't ascribe to these qualities that our mainstream media has created and portrayed to us. Because also another thing is I am pretty emotional, you know, and once again, as we've seen just a second ago, men aren't supposed to be overly emotional. Men aren't supposed to be emotional, you know, we're supposed to be stoic, we're supposed to be emotional and strong and proud, right? That's what we've been taught. You know, I don't go around having I'm still a virgin. I've never had sex point blank. But because of those are our qualities, men are supposed to have sex with all of these people. Men are sexual beings. We have needs. We're supposed to go around and do that. This once again goes into our warped concept of masculinity. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before I wrap this video up. And this is a lot of women want a man who's going to put them in their place. Now, I mentioned this in a video called Borderline Abuse. But it is not a man's place to put you in your place. You are supposed to become subservient to a man in exchange for something. What that means is, the only reason you relinquish control and power in a relationship is in exchange for something that the man's giving you. You don't just give it up just because. Just because he's strong, just because he's telling you to do something, just because you like him or you love him. You don't do that. You give up your subservience in exchange for something, and that exchange for something is X, Y, and Z. For this video, let's say your exchange for subservience to a man is for protection, for security, and for love. Okay? The reason why you are submissive to this man is because he protects you, he supports you, you know, he brings in money, takes care of the house, and he loves you, He gives you all the love he can. This is why you give up your subservience. Because now you give up your subservience in exchange for the man. So now the man has a support beam he can rely on. It's supposed to work. It's supposed to balance. It's not supposed to be off balanced. It's not that this man comes in, he puts you in your place and you're down. See, and this is a problem. This is one reason why a lot of women stay in terrible relationships. Because they have relinquished this power over themselves to this man that doesn't actually care about them, that doesn't even love them or anything. They've given up so much of themselves and so much of their power to these men that when they know it's a bad relationship and they know it's a bad situation, they can't let him go because he has become a part of her. They can't let them go because they've given so much of themselves to him. They can't let them go because he defines her. The relationship now defines her because she's given up so much of herself to it. This is why they stay. This is how your friends, this is how you can know your relationship is terrible, but you can't leave. And you can't leave because you're just so attached. And you're just so stuck on dysfunction. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video on a much more positive note. And that positive note is how to find a good man. No, you do not need a book written by Steve Harvey to do so. It's all about the things that you do within yourself. Okay? So let's go. One thing is to actually be friends with an individual. I'm not saying that you just go date your best friend, but I mean become friends with someone that you want to be with, someone you want to date. Because one thing I've noticed is a lot of women, a lot of girls don't really work on actually creating relationships with people, like friendships and getting to know them, and actually they work on like connections. They want to date somebody because they have a connection with them, but this connection is just some sexual feeling that you get just from looking at them. A lot of women work on a kind of zip thing, like it clicks, it just feels good, it feels natural. However, that's bad because you don't actually know the person that you're with and that you're dating, and this is part of the reason you end in dysfunction, because you don't actually know the person that you're with. And then you get to know the person and you're like, I don't even want to be with this guy. But as I have previously described, you've given so much of yourself to him, now you can't leave. So in search of a good man, you become friends first. Because even just from a logical point of view, the best person to date is your friend. Because you enjoy being with them. You're comfortable. It's natural. It feels good. You can play around. You can joke. It's okay. Your friend is the best person to date. I'm not saying every single one of your friends. Just you have to be friends before you get into a sexual or very serious relationship with a person. And that goes for both sexes. Number 2, change your criteria. You gotta stop, you gotta think. What makes a man good? What are the qualities that I need? What are the qualities that I desire? And if the qualities you desire are bad, you have to change them. You have to change these qualities. You have to search for someone who's good. And that means someone who's kind-hearted, someone who is proud, who is strong, who is comfortable with themselves. Because a lot of these guys who are going around having sex with these women actually are not affirmed within themselves. They actually don't have true confidence. How ironic is that? They actually don't have true confidence within themselves. And the reason they have to go have all this sex is to feel good about themselves. So who's strong, he's confident, he's truly confident, truly comfortable within himself. Someone, of course, who's intelligent. And someone who's going to protect you and keep you safe. Because this is where over-emotional and weak man, I understand that. You don't want to be with a weak little punk guy who's just going to let you hurt you. Because even though I'm overly emotional, I am a protector. And I'll always protect anybody that I'm around. So you need someone who is emotional but knows when to be it. Someone who's wise. And, I think I'm saying just go find an angel. But I'm not saying that. The positive qualities are the qualities that you want to be with. Final answer, where did all the good men go? Nowhere. They've always been here. You just haven't been looking for one. So, I want to thank you guys for taking time to stop by and watch this video. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like button, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys later.